Jake Medley is the executive director of the Mayor's Office of Sustainability in Louisville, Kentucky. He is committed to giving back to his city in various ways, and in this office will seek to lower industry emissions through business relationships and insights he gained working in Louisville Metro's Economic Development Office, among other initiatives. Prior to government work, Jake worked in business development in San Francisco, where he aimlessly spent his 20s hiking in nature. He is a 2015 graduate of Centre College and is proud to be back in his hometown with his sleeves rolled up. So, with that, Jake, I'm
Thanks,
going to pass it
Justin.
on to you.
Yeah, I was that it's true. I was spending my 20s. You have more idle time, I think, in your 20s. And I think I spent it probably the best that I could, which was in the Bay Area. I see Samantha, her background is the bridge. I ran that bridge a lot of times. I was there during the pandemic, and it was eerie running that bridge with no traffic on it. So, anyways, Uh, that's my background. Thank you, everyone, for the invite. It's very kind. I think what we have here in Louisville is a happy accident, really, and it's compelling. We have a program that is a resilience modeled program that came from a study done last decade, and I will go in a little bit more about that here in a sec. But float like a butterfly, reflect like a roof should. I will be talking to you all today about our Cool Roof program, a highly reflective program. That's a kind of a messy way to introduce, but we are in Louisville. We are the home to Muhammad Ali. So if you talk to a public sector leader here, you're going to get a clumsy Muhammad Ali intro in all likelihood. But Muhammad Ali obviously was a world symbol of peace, hope, and resilience. And so that's my way of connecting him to our topic here today. But thanks to Muhammad, I think everyone probably knows who he was and what he stood for. But in terms of resilience, what am I talking to you about today? I'm talking to you about our Cool Roof program. It is constructed to combat urban heat and climate pollution. Well, more so urban heat, which can feed into climate pollution based off HVAC strain. Uh, I will be talking to you about the incentive we created in response and its impacts and how unintentionally it really follows an abundance based approach of getting real incentives out to the community fast. I'm sure some of you have probably heard of the theories of abundance that are being spread by different politically philosophic minded people. And then we're going to leave some room for questions and discussion here in a little bit. But too long didn't read or your mind drifts elsewhere. Cool roofs have many benefits. Cool roofs are a highly reflective material, whether it be a
Hey,
shingle, a
hey,
coating.
Jake. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It looks like you're still on the title slide.
Oh, okay. Here, I've had this issue before. And so what I'm gonna do is just, if I do this, do the slides
Yes.
change?
Are
Okay.
you
This
able
is
to put
this is
it?
a me issue. Sorry about that. But there's Muhammad Ali. Um,
Gotcha.
But back to cool roofs. Cool roofs. Thank you, Justin. Cool roofs, highly reflective shingles and or coatings. What they do, it's a pretty simple concept. It's not groundbreaking, but it's physics. It's white colored roofs which reflect sunlight back into the atmosphere, thereby uh, diminishing a, the impact of heat in a metropolitan area filled with concrete. And that is the idea. What cool roofs do is it reduce it is shown per the Environmental and Energy Study Institute to reduce electricity costs, HVAC driven electricity costs, anywhere between 10 to 20%. So I have the models we do at a 15% average. That spectrum goes up for larger commercial properties and down for residential properties. But then the properties and those products differ. So it's a pretty interesting conversation. But because of reduced HVAC costs and the this is a it's a it's a circular process in which heat aids and abets electricity use, which creates pollution that feeds into worse air quality. So this in mass will actually help produce better indoor air quality over time, which helps our occupant health. It helps the quality and performance of HVAC systems, doesn't put as much strain on them because they're not being used as strenuously in the summer months and peak load times. So it also does that. That can therefore increase property value, and it contributes to larger environmental goals. So this is a program that cascades. It's a small idea that can actually blow up into big gains and better resilience and health community-wide if you commit to it over time. But background, how did we get started in this? Louisville is the leader, unfortunately, in a couple categories. One is in an urban island heat. So in 2016, we actually had a research team from Georgia Tech help conduct a study to show the urban heat island problem that Louisville has. And urban heat, you all are probably aware, is the differential between heat in city centers and then in our suburbs that are more lush with trees and greenery and all that good stuff. So it's the delta. It's the difference between your city center and then outside your city. And so that difference, we were number one. Georgia Tech found in having the worst accelerating heat island effect in all the country. We're outpacing Phoenix, and Phoenix is hot. So really, it's emblematic of city planning over time. Obviously, this is a study conducted from 1961 to 2010. I think we learned from the past, but obviously our city was set up in a way that didn't prioritize greenery or green space in our downtown. Hence, a problem that it was larger than other folks. So this really is the main study that influenced the program rollout. Here is a graphic I think that really helps detail. As you can see, the heat, we have, I guess, red areas designate a 95 degree heat scale in our city center. So this is the central business district. I'm working right around here today. But then this West Louisville is a predominantly Black neighborhood that's been left behind for decades and decades. And then down here, so going southwards, we have industrial plants, other neighborhoods, lower socioeconomic areas. So this is a layered problem in that it's hotter in areas where people that are more vulnerable live. So this is it creates a lot of issues that we can try to combat. And so I'll get in there in a little bit, but just for a frame of reference, our university did a study not so long ago that showed that in addition to climate pollution, high heat, which again creates this accelerating effect of just poor population health, has and U of L studies showed that the life expectancy for folks, especially in West Louisville, is around 67 years, 15 years lower than folks out here in East Louisville, and that's due to a lot of factors. Heat itself it impacts health, but then in combination with pollution, we see markedly higher rates of COPD, asthma. So it's a real issue, and it's very unfair because it's hitting people who have no control over the situation and don't necessarily have the means to move or see the upward mobility that we tend to tell narratives about in this country. But anyways, that's one part of the issue. Another part of the issue is that Louisville, being a central location, while it powers our economy, we are a logistics-based industry center, which puts us above the national average and total climate pollution. This was a greenhouse gas inventory conducted around the same time as the Heat Island study. And basically, it just shows that we have a lot of pollution. We have pollution above the U.S. national average. It makes sense in terms of what we are and where our industries lie. But still, no one wants to be above the national average, even if we are a more industry-based city, just like a lot of folks on this call today live in states that have very similar situations, Rust Belt, uh, et cetera, et cetera. So these problems together create an issue. Our metro government decided around 2020 that, well, even before then, we implemented the Cool Roof program in 2016, 2017, and then we came out with clean energy resolutions, like a lot of cities in the country, for reduced electricity use and cleaner energy and net zero goals. We have goals that span the next decade that we're working hard on. But I can't talk about the heat island issue without talking about pollution, just because everything's so interconnected. But this study, it's created these resolutions and really created our office and what I do each and every day. So the question is, on the net zero issue, on the heat island issue, can we improve these things? And folks, I always get, man, you're a little crazy to be thinking this way. And I am a little crazy, but I think it takes bravery. It takes a little bit of irrational confidence to think that these problems can be solved. And no big problem has ever been solved without those things. So thank you again for having me on. And I hope that we're going to get into kind of the nitty gritty of the program. We have the most aggressive incentive for cool roofs in the country because of that study. We should have the most aggressive incentive because we have a larger problem. But I think we've learned a lot of really cool things, pun intended, in the process that are replicable, make a lot of sense for groups here on the call since we have similar energy profiles, especially in comparison to state of Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. I think this can be replicated. We're getting called to a national conference next week, so folks can learn more. So we're getting asked by national groups about this. But so this is replicable and it's compelling and it's a slow burn of a program, but it's something that can create high impact with modest investment. We'll get into that here in a bit. So the Cool Roof program here in Louisville is part of our Louisville Green Bank. So we have a green bank to address all different environmental issues up and down the spectrum. But Cool Roof program is our high heat answer in our green bank. So what is it? We provide the city of Louisville a $1 per square foot incentive for cool roof installations. So that's up to $2K for residential cap, a $2,000 rebate for residential cool roof installs. Those are shingle installs, and then anywhere between $5 and $10K on commercial larger building installs. And that spectrum, the amount of incentive there depends on the commercial building slope. But it's $1 per square foot. It's for residential, non-residential properties in Jefferson County where we have a heat problem. Especially, we actually designate more funding and prioritize properties in those high heat western and southern based districts. We've seen a lot of impact to date. That $5.7 million figure, that is the amount of economic activity that is happened, I guess, and somewhat aided by our program. So that's just the total amount of roof costs from contractors over the scope of our program. That is an estimate. Hard figure is that we have invested $875,000 into the program itself to date, which has incentivized and created 1.4 million plus square feet of cool roof rooftop. And then when we calculate that 15% average savings over the summer months, again, this is modeling. It's not perfect. We think it's precise. That does create compelling savings as these properties stack over time. And while the city doesn't see an ROI on our direct investment, that's not how it works for us. We're a community government-based organization. What we count as ROI is the projected savings over time. So I will get in there in a little bit, like what those projections are and how that's compelling for cities to operate. But environmental impact, per the same institute I referenced earlier, 1,000 square feet of cool roof does have an EPA equivalency offset of 10 tons of CO2 per year. So if you calculate our roof out, that creates CO2 avoided, which is good for our overall mission to become net zero. It makes it, we have a lot of CO2 in our environment, but it takes away some of it. And our program is getting more and more popular by the day. The equivalency per EPA of our 1.4 square foot total portfolio is the equivalent of planting a lot of trees and avoiding a lot of gasoline use, which is good. Trees, I love trees. We want trees in our downtown. We want them all around. They create real kind of in the moment shade for humans to seek shelter from. We love them. Trees also can cost up to $2,500 per tree, and so that cost adds up to get the same benefits that we're seeing here from our cool roof. It's much more costlier. So cool roof, while it might not be as pretty as a bunch of trees around the city or the lush view of our city that you got in my opening slide, you don't have to. It's not all or nothing on trees. You can put your money into cool roofs too, and those impacts are really broad and stretch further because we're talking about more square footage. So how does this look like in Louisville? This is kind of our residential portfolio here, or some properties are residential. These are actually affordable housing units that stacked our cool roof incentive with our solar program incentive. So they're seeing double, or I'm just throwing out numbers. They're seeing added benefits, obviously, with solar and cool roof. Cool roof is shown to actually enhance the energy profile that solar can provide a home. But as you can see, it's not totally white, but it's off-white, it's gray. It's got to be a lighter color. That's how physics works. I will be going to Cool Roof Rating Council's conference here, which will be filled with industry people who actually do the actual manufacturing of products. And I hear that there are a lot of promising improvements so that cool roof will extend to all kinds of colors of shingles and, more cost-effective means to spread impact over the coming years. So I'm really excited to see what advancements we're making in the manufacturing of these products. The benefits you see from residential are smaller in comparison to really these are the types of buildings that really increase impact. These are large commercial buildings. This is the largest mall in Louisville. As you can see, they have solar all across their property as well. These are non-solar facilities, but these are highly reflective roofs. Now, one interesting thing about commercial properties, if you are talking to anyone with a commercial property in your area, they're already getting a highly reflective roof. Now, if we're talking about marginal improvement, you could reach out to those property owners and talk about grades of reflectivity. They're already likely to get a reflective roof, but you could, as a policy person or a nonprofit leader, you can get in and have conversations with these people and say, well, yeah, you're doing this, but you could potentially even get a more reflective roof. And while that might create some cost differential on the front end, the operational savings you see from that 15% average, now that goes up for these larger roofs. You can make a case, and you can see, and through those conversations, you can see marginal improvements, even on commercial properties that are already doing this. So we've actually seen some success there. I want to be mindful of time here, but one reason our program is really successful is its simplicity. And I'm not going to go through all these today. We have on our page a process. These are the rules. As you can see, a lot of wording, a lot of verbiage here. But in the grand schemes of a government incentive program, it's pretty bare bones. It's pretty simple. It's straightforward. We kind is clear. We tell people everything they need to know on the front end what gets the rebate. And so we have solar reflectance. To actually have a meaningful solar reflective roof, it has to have a reflective property. And we tie it back to the Cool Roof Rating Council. They're the national nonprofit that actually they work on the science behind the products, or at least determine the reflectivity behind the products to show impact. But where we've seen success is that the instructions to put on a roof to get the rebate is straightforward. We have an application process that this requires a few items. It is a collaboration between homeowner and contractor. It's a three-page application. You submit that with 3 photos and proof of payment receipts. We got to be thorough. To us, to our office directly. That hits my inbox and my associate's inbox, and we look at those applications, and then in 2 weeks we get the check out the door. That is that's pretty quick, I think, in terms of government. And really, I think where we've caught on like wildfire is within the contractor communities. And guess what? That's a pretty cantankerous community to kind of make inroads with, because these folks are moving at a different speed in which government moves. And so there is often the notion that they're not going to fuss with us because, we're slow. Not here. They know the process. They know if they email Jake or Heather Wright that they're going to get what they need processed and get a check back in the mail. So that's what I mean by abundance. We didn't intentionally create this process with abundance in mind. Abundance is a political theory that's been passed around by Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson from the New York Times, and kind of response to diminished faith in government. People think government is slow, clunky, doesn't work for them, doesn't meet them where they're at, especially in a practical sense. This program is not that. We are meeting people in a way that makes sense. I mean, we're not recreating the wheel. We're not overextending ourselves. We've just created a simple process, issuing a rebate that really doesn't accumulate to much more than $100,000 a year, and that's what drives this entire thing, and that's what's driven 1.4 square million feet to date. Now, modeling wise, I'm running short on time here. How am I doing on time, Justin?
We're right around the 20-minute mark, but I think we can maybe do a couple more minutes.
Okay. I at least want to get this done. So modeling. One thing we do here is, especially when it concerns different administrations, things change so much politically. And so we have to navigate through administrations that are pro-environment and maybe administrations that are more pro-business. And it just so happens that our mayor is very business friendly. I'm fine with that. So we have to make cases for why these things matter and why they work and why they make financial sense. If you just say you're going to invest $100,000 a year, which is what we've been doing, into a program, folks are going to naturally, at least maybe more fiscally conservative people are going to ask, well, are we getting enough back from this investment? And the answer, based on the model that we put together, is yes, it does. As I said, we assume 15% savings. Obviously, well, not obvious to you. These products degrade over time. If you get a roof, that roof is only going to make sense on your house for around a 20 to 25 year period. It's the same with these products. These products degrade. They're not perfect. They're not going to get the same reflectivity day one or year 20 that they got year one. So we factored all this stuff in. But basically what we can see, and this numbering, this is kind of a moving target a little bit, but because this ROI actually increases over more and more time. But basically, this is probably like a 2040 program overall ROI, where we can see positive returns. And what we denote as a positive return are the savings realized by folks who put cool roofs on their home. Now, it's a little different for residential because those are smaller properties. So like the real world savings that a residential owner will feel in comparison to a commercial owner, that's a huge gap. And the residential owner will see more moderate savings, but we're calculating this over our entire portfolio. So we're talking about everything. And what we can see is that we do see a 110 to 140% ROI based on realized savings. We're not seeing the money back in our pockets, government, but it's going out to taxpayers who are then saving money on their month-over-month energy bills. That is backed up by Cool Roof Council and multiple entities, EPA. Cool roofs are being deployed all across the nation. We're getting called to the conference next week to talk about this, but these are real savings. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I would say we're on the general target of this amount. We have put in 875,000 to date, roughly over the 9-year course of our program. We started in 2017. A rough estimate is that we have put enough cool roofs on properties around our city to realize around $443,000 in savings. And so the total break even for our program, meaning ROI just in general, means the moment until which the value created meets the investment. That break even point for us is 2035. So in terms of a long horizon program for governments to think about, we did this in 18 years based on $100,000 annually plugged into the program. Yes, the amount, it's not a crazy ROI, but it is meaningful and it does drive value. And this is something governments can do today that is efficient, that stretches further, honestly, than if you were just to put the same amount of funds into trees. So it's very impactful. And I think, at least in terms, a lot of this modeling was based off of energy prices in, I think, what they call it, the upper Southeast. I think these were DOE figures, which are very similar across the Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama areas. Not to mean that this doesn't also ring true for other states too, but we have very low energy prices in Kentucky that are driven by coal, and our historic relationship to coal creates a different problem for me and a different conversation entirely. But all this modeling is also based on cheaper energy prices, which not everyone has, including other states that are on this call today. So thank you. I'm over time. We are also making impacts in other areas around our city. We have a lot of room to go. We put solar on buildings. Our green bank in total catalyzes a lot of investment around. So we're trying to do a little bit of everything. But really the thing that is the most successful is our Cool Roof program. And thank you for listening. This is our mayor. That's the guy who puts me to work every day. Thanks for listening. If you want to get in contact with our office, we do have a Sustain Louisville on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram. You can also follow us on our website. I feel free, folks. I will probably send an updated PowerPoint presentation, at least a PDF, so you all can have this and reference it. If you want to look into the numbers and figures and ask questions further or ask me for some assumptions I made, I'm happy to provide that, but we can really get into the weeds there. So anyways, I'm Jake Medley. I do work in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you for your time today. Resilience is the name of the game in the future. And I think, on the optimistic side of the aisle, I think there's a lot of really compelling work to be done in this area. And so thank you. And I'll take any questions.
Thanks so much. I think we have a little echo here.
I see some
thanks
in the chat.
So much, Jake, for that amazing presentation and all the great work, sharing all the great work you're doing in Louisville. I did put your website in the chat so folks can have easy access to that. And I think that's where they can also find your contact information if they have additional questions. But there are a number of questions in the chat. So I'm gonna ask a few of these, and then we'll probably hold a few until the end if you're able to stick around and answer at the end of the presentation. So the first one is, are there any studies comparing white reflective roof cooling versus cooling from airspace under black solar panel shading?
I don't know off the top. What we can do on the solar panel
I think
questions.
you're muted. Oh,
I'm muted.
I have to mute.
You're good, Jake. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I have to dig into this a little bit more. I just know anecdotally from our solar installers and some of the CRRC people that there is, the co-benefit piece is there, but in comparison, I would have to get back to you, Robert. Thank you for your question, but I think what we can do for the ones I don't know off the top, especially Robert's, I can kind of dig in and get back to you on that one.
All right, thanks. Let's see. The next one is, does the white roof significantly enhance energy production for bifacial solar panels? And in winter, does a reflective roof increase heating loads?
I know that no to the second question. Now for the not significant, it does a little bit, but not significantly. I'll have to get back to you on this in comparison. I know that for fact, but I'll have to get back to you with like real data that you can look at, but not to the extent that it offsets the benefits that you see in the summer months. Also, the data we really computed, I calculated upwards on the cooling load. There's a cooling load metric that DOE and all kind of energy related industries follow, and that differs. But in all practical speaking, the cooling load for us is around 4 months of the year. Does the white roof significantly enhance energy for bifacial solar panels? I just know that it just increases the energy efficiency of the property. Now, there's also insulation. We're thinking about putting together a program for insulation too, because that's also part of the overall energy profile of properties. But basically, now on solar panels, you're just going to get more bang for your buck if you have type products or HVACs that aren't working so hard. It will, I guess, expand the capability of the solar you're generating on your property. I mean, if you just think about it plainly, and that's a good thing. In Kentucky, it's a little different because we have weird net metering laws. So anything you generate over a certain amount, you got to sell back to the utility for less cents on the dollar than it's actually worth. But that's a more complicated issue for Kentucky. But I would say, yes, cool roofs will just definitely enhance the energy production for your panels. That will stretch the generated panel energy further. And then it may give you more to either sell back to your utility based on your state's laws or your utilities policies, or lead to more battery storage in the event that you have a battery system or know an organization with a battery system. So
I'm gonna combine two questions, I think, and ask a little bit about your maintenance requirements for these, and then can a cool roof extend the life of a roof? So these are all sort of maintenance related questions, both of these.
Yes. So we don't do any maintenance. So the modeling I use is extremely conservative. I will say that. Like all the assumptions I made include the following. So maintenance for a highly reflective roof, yes, maintenance is required. And there's like studies from like a national lab, the Berkeley National Lab did a study in the 90s that laid the groundwork for a lot of the cool roof product expansion market. But yes, you need to maintain roofs if you want to see the savings in the ballpark that I'm talking about. Well, actually, no, we didn't. We assumed in our model that no one's cleaning these. Actually, that's factual. I assumed that no one would be cleaning the roofs, which is just a conservative. It's a human nature, I think, a realistic human nature thought, but I know that some people do, and especially the corporate or the commercial properties are probably cleaning their roofs. But you have to clean them because dirt collects, and that frustrates the impacts. But if you do clean them, you can maintain higher reflectivity, and we'll probably see more savings over time. Now, I think I just calculate, again, being conservative, I just calculated 20 years. I think cool roofs do probably have a longer shelf or activity life than your standard roof that you would get replaced. But in my modeling, I just compared I just pretended it was apples to apples, but I think so.
Okay. That's helpful. I'm going to squeeze in one more. I'll save the.
No, and if you clean your roof, I think that's probably, well, one thing we can do, I would like to double check some of these things, but if someone on the team here wants to aggregate these questions, I'm sure we can get to them like within the next week. Yes, and I had a different thought, but go ahead with your question.
I'm going to save the financing question to the end because I have a feeling that might come up for other speakers too. But there's one in here that is about your rebates. Have you considered further rebates that may help contractors save customers energy from the building thermal envelope? So things like duct sealing, insulation, weatherization.
Yes. Oh yeah. So the short answer is yes. I think about these things all the time. I work with a couple energy managers here that work with our metro building stock that are like working with pretty nuanced different measures. I would like to do that. We are simply constrained from a budgetary consideration. Basically, I have a 100K cap. However, we did win some money from the DOE, part of like the buildings up prize. I'm not sure if anyone was part of the. I know we're getting help from SIA on that, but we're creating a program, plan to create a program for insulation, air duct ceilings for low income residential properties. That impact could certainly extend to these larger commercial things. We just don't have the money for it. Now, maybe in an ideal world, I can, and this is what's helpful about me getting opportunities to speak with you all today and the Cool Roof Rating Council. Yeah, Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. Thank you, Samantha. But basically more exposure to these conversations, I think will lead to more thought from policymakers on this, which could include deeper allocations for more meaningful benefits.
Okay, we are going to have to move on, but we're going to come back around at the end if there's time to address the remaining questions for Jake and additional questions you have for the other speakers. Anything we can't get to today, we'll facilitate getting you all the answers, but we'll come back
these
for
these types of conversations open a can of worms. So we'll get back to you all.
Lots of great information, lots of great enthusiasm from the attendees, and great questions too. So we'll try to address some of these at the end. I'm going to pass it back to Justin. Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate it.